Hello you guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you are new, then welcome. My name is Christina, and today we are going to be doing an empties video, the very first one for 2026. First of all, I want to say I hope you guys are all doing really well. I know recently with all of the news of 2026 and really how it started for us here in America, it has been very, very difficult, and I hope that you guys are taking care of yourselves. If you guys want to follow along more frequently with me and see ways that you can help where you can, please follow me on Instagram. I'm very active there. I've had a really hard time kind of balancing work and my mental health recently, to be completely transparent with you guys. So I thought that I would start this year with an empties video because these videos genuinely bring me joy in filming. I really enjoy emptying out products and sharing with you guys all of my thoughts on things that I have completely finished up. So I have my basket right here. It is quite full. I'm gonna try to go in categories. I typically do this like quarterly or so, but I am considering doing it more often because I feel like you guys really enjoy the empties videos, and I'm trying to make it a more priority for myself this year to focus on emptying out products. That is part of my end goal of the year. The first one I don't think really fits into any of our body care, hair care, makeup categories, so laundry sauce. This is a detergent brand, and they actually sent this to me a while back. There were 60 pods in here, and I got this one in the scent Spanish Leather. It says right here it has Spanish Leather, Blue Eucalyptus, Sumatra Benzoin, Tonka Bean, and Vanilla. It's really hard for me to describe other than the notes that they've provided. I would say that this is a little bit masculine and clean. It's not too masculine to where I can't really use it to wash any of my stuff, but it's masculine enough to where it leans that direction. I think that it left the laundry smelling like the actual detergent. Some detergents can be either a little too strong or just like not there at all. This one I would say was leaning towards being stronger, but not too strong where it would like give me a headache or anything. I really enjoyed this on my bed sheets, my towels, my couch covers, really any fabrics used in the home. I found that it didn't leave a residue on my clothing or anything, and it was really, really nice. I want to try out more of their fragrances. I wish that I could smell them in person though, because it's really hard for me to decipher what it's going to smell like in person. Let's go ahead and move on to our makeup. So the first one I want to talk about is this Kulfi Badi mascara. This is a tubing mascara, one of my absolute favorite tubing mascaras out there, I can confidently say now that I've finished this one up. This one adds a lot of really great volume and length to the lashes, and my favorite thing about this, it's kind of dry, it's kind of hard to open right now, but my favorite thing about this is my lashes do not droop with this. If I use an Asian mascara or a waterproof mascara underneath it. You guys know that is always my little caveat when it comes to any mascara. It has to be layered if it's not already by itself, a waterproof mascara or an Asian mascara. And my favorite mascara to layer this one with is going to be my Hair and Make Advanced Film Mascara. It's this one right here. This is one of my all-time favorite mascaras. After using this for like 2 years or so, it's just, you know, when mascaras just kind of don't work the same anymore for you for one reason or another. Maybe it's because of the skincare you're using, maybe your makeup has changed, like the products you use. I think that may be the case, like a factor of those two. I did notice that this one does start to kind of like smudge under my eyes over time if I'm wearing it throughout an entire day, but I find that if I layer it with this Kulfi Badi mascara, then I do not get any smudging under my eyes whatsoever. It is incredible, and again, it's not going to droop on my eyes whenever I curl them. They stay curled. I feel like it tubes around the waterproof or Asian mascara already on my lashes, so there's absolute zero smudging because of that. It has kind of like that shield, that like armor of tubing mascara on top of it. The only thing that I don't like about this mascara is that ball tip. I know that that's supposed to be like a special feature of this mascara, but I don't really find it that usable. I do think that the product kind of like clumps up and gathers on the tip anyways, so you're left kind of brushing it off, and still I feel like there's a little bit too much. I can use the entire length of the wand on my entire eye without having to utilize that tip anyways, so it's not a huge deal. I I already have another one open that I'm currently using. My Rare Beauty Brow Gel. This is my go-to high-end brow gel. This is fail proof for me, honestly. It's going to be that liquid wax texture, so it's not ever going to actually dry down and get crunchy or flaky. I don't find that it's too heavy on my brows. It's actually the opposite. It's one of the only brow gels that actually keeps them up. Like whenever I feather them up, this is empty. I don't know why I'm trying to use it right now, but whenever I feather them up, it stays all day. Sometimes if my hair gets in the way, like, you know, my little face framing pieces, if they're constantly pushing down on here, they will go down, but all I have to do is kind of just brush it up again and then it stays there. And my favorite thing about this is that I can put this into my brows and kind of shape them where I want them to be, leave them to dry for a couple of minutes, and then I can go in with a brow pencil after applying it. I find it easiest to apply my brow pencil after I've already shaped it with a brow gel because I use way less brow pencil and I can really see the shape of my brow and where it just needs to be filled in, because that's really all I'm doing with my brows. So I love this one. I do find that even though this is technically more of like a high-end product, I believe it's around $16 to $18 compared to more expensive brow gels. This one I would say is like mid-range when it comes to price. We have a couple of brow pencils. I feel like I always go through brow pencils and I talk about them in these empties videos, so I'm gonna try not to like ramble too much, but the Kosas Brow Pop Nano, if you guys have been here for any length of time, you know I've gone through multiple of these. This is definitely one of my fail-proof go-to brow pencils. I want to say this is my favorite micro brow pencil. So it is nano. It has that super tiny tip. I can't remember off the top of my head, but it's going to be the tiniest when it comes to brow pencils. I go through these slightly quick because again, it is very small, so there isn't a ton of product in it, so it's not going to be the best bang for your buck, I will say. But because of the ease of use, because I know that this always works well for me, and it's something that I have found is just really easy for me to use, I am okay with paying that price because I know it's something that I really enjoy. It's also a really great color for my brows. This is in brown black. My brows are black, but I don't like using just like straight up black brow pencils because I find that they just get so intense so quickly. And I also have like some brown highlights in my hair, so I find that that mixture really works out for me. I love the spoolie on this. I think it's really usable. It's nice and short and stiff, so you can just brush in without getting the actual residue of the brow pencil all over your skin. I also started to use the Make Beauty brow pencils. These are the Infinite Brow Nano pencils. They are also going to be that very tiny tip right here. I believe it's the same as the Kosas one in terms of the size. I have compared them and they're pretty much the same size here, and it has the same amount of product. So they both have 0.001 ounces in them. This one is going to be in the shade Soft Black, and like I said, I don't like going for anything that's too intense, but I find that the Soft Black does have a little bit of like a grayish tone to it that makes it less intense in the brows. I went through two of these. I will say that I think that this is a great contender for the Kosas Brow Pop Nanos. I think that it works just as well. I love the color. It's very natural on my brows. I find that this one feels slightly more stiff than the Kosas, so I have a little bit more control, and I feel like I use less product when I'm using this because the strokes, I can use them without doling down the pencil as quickly because of that stiffness. But it's not too stiff to where it feels like it's scratching your eyebrows or the skin under your eyebrows. I have experienced that with some other eyebrow pencils and I'm just not a fan of that. I don't know who would be, but this is very comfortable to use. I think the packaging is really nice, and this also has a spoolie. There's a lot of dog hair on there and lint. It has a great spoolie. It's nice and short and stiff. I need the bristles to be nice and short and close to the base of it because I feel like I get way more precision and control of my brows with something like that. I think that I already have another one that they had sent my way, unless the second one is that one. I don't know. Either way, I would use this again. I really like these. This next one, okay, I'm kind of cheating here because it's not completely finished, but I'm just itching to talk about it because I've used this pretty much to the end, and that's very rare for me when it comes to lip products. You guys know, if you watched my lip audit, how rare that is. But this is the Too Faced Pillow Balm. This is just the original. Yeah, it's just the original. I think it's like a coconut water scent, and I took the stopper out. I've made that a habit of emptying my products. If there's a stopper, I just rip that thing out and I use the rest of it. But my doe foot will not reach in here anymore, so I'm gonna go in with a little spatula and scrape it out and depot it into something else. But I wanted to show this to you guys. I feel like I'm going to finish this within the week. I'm going to add it here in this video, but I might also add it in my next empties video, so if you see that, it's gonna be the same thing. But I love these. I talk about them all the time. So I first started using the mango one before they discontinued that scent, and very quickly after that I purchased this one because I wanted to be able to use one before bed that didn't have any sort of tint. And this is great. I keep this at my bedside table and I use this every single night. I find that it's super moisturizing and it actually feels like it leaves hydration on my lips. It's kind of like Vaseline, but less petroleum jelly feeling, like less slippery than that. This one feels like it has a little bit more body to it and it smells really nice. I have no complaints. My lips have been nice and soft all throughout the winter and the cold season, whatever the cold season means here in Florida. I do have a couple of like the tinted ones, and I think I'm going to try to use those before buying this original one. And I have one fragrance that I want to talk about that I've emptied. It is the Dedcool Milk fragrance, just the travel size here, but this is truly one of my all-time favorite fragrances and my all-time favorite brands when it comes to fragrances too. This is so amazing as a layering fragrance, or if you just want to wear it alone. I usually wear it alone, but that's not true. I have been in the habit of layering a lot of my fragrances. So this is one that I reach for whenever I'm like, oh, I want to layer a fragrance. This always comes top of mind for me. This is the perfect skin scent that's slightly sweet and warm at the same time, but it's not sweet in like an artificial way. It's very much a skin scent, but not just warmth from a skin scent, if that makes sense. So the notes on this one is amber, bergamot, and white musk, and it's definitely my go-to when I want a fragrance, but I feel like it might, like wearing a fragrance that day might trigger a headache. This one never does that for me. It's nice and light, but you also get really good sillage out of this one. People will smell it throughout the day and tell me that it smells really good, so I love this. I spray it all over, and if you have any sensitivity to fragrances and you're looking for a good like everyday go-to type of product or fragrance, this one would definitely be my pick for you. Now let's talk about some body care, starting with this Naturium, the Revealer Sulfur body wash. I have a couple of Naturium body washes in this empties video, and this one is going to be my least favorite of the bunch. So my husband actually mainly used this one up. I really enjoy the fact that Naturium has fragrance-free body washes. This one is fragrance-free, and I think that's important because a lot of their body washes actually serve as doing a specific thing. So for instance, this one is supposed to help with the appearance of redness. So this does have sulfur. My issue with this one is that I wanted it to be a little bit moisturizing, and this does lather really nicely, but I found it didn't lather as nicely as other body washes that I've used from Naturium, and I love a body wash that really suds up. I feel like this left my skin slightly dry. I don't really have redness in my skin, so this isn't really geared towards me per se, so I can't say if it would actually be effective if you do have redness within your skin. Another reason why I just decided to opt out of finishing this one up myself is I feel like this kind of made like my KP bumps flare up a little bit, but I'm not entirely sure because I switched over from using it after I noticed it like right away. So I don't know. I think that this might have kind of irritated it, so I just didn't even want to risk it. So yeah, my husband finished this. He had no complaints. He said it was good. I am a big fan of the multi-oil body wash. That's definitely my favorite one out of the bunch. The next Naturium body wash is the Calmer Ceramide body wash. This one says it gently cleanses, moisturizes, and soothes sensitive skin. This one I think felt really nice and moisturizing. It has a slightly milky texture and it lathered really nicely on the skin. And I do think that this one actually helped calm like the bumps on my skin. So it kind of did the opposite of that Sulfur one. I really enjoyed this one. I would recommend it if you do have some sensitivity on your skin. I feel like it's nice and moisturizing without being too much and feeling like a layer on the skin, but it also feels like it's nourishing on the skin as well. So I like this one a lot. And again, this one is going to be a fragrance free. Let's keep going with the body washes, shall we? The Necessaire, the body wash. This is in the eucalyptus scent. I have gone through a couple of these bottles and I've talked about them in the past, and I really enjoy the Necessaire body washes. I think that they do them so well. I love this unit. I like that it's so mess free, just like twisting this open and then the product comes out there and you can close it that way. Really great for travel, and in general really nice to use in the shower because you don't have to fuss with like a flip cap or anything, or like twisting off the cap for a body wash. And the scent of this is such a clean eucalyptus scent. It's not like a cleaning eucalyptus, if you know what I mean. Like some of your cleaning products may have eucalyptus or something. This is slightly on the lighter, slightly sweeter side, I would say, of a eucalyptus. It's nice in the shower. It feels like you get very clean, slightly minty feeling, so it like wakes you up. I feel like this is a very good cleansing body wash, so it doesn't leave any type of like moisturizing residue on the skin, but it also doesn't leave you feeling like dry and squeaky. It's a very good in between, I find. And I have a travel bottle of this, and I just like use this to refill that. So this is one of my go-tos when it comes to traveling, and there's a little bit left in there. I have like turned it upside down. I think I'll just go ahead and unscrew the cap and use the rest of it like probably tonight. I highly recommend the Necessaire body washes if you guys are looking for a little treat when it comes to your body wash, because it's definitely not cheap. It's going to be a more pricey body wash. And then, like I said, the Naturium Glow Getter Multi-Oil Body Wash. I have this size because I did take this traveling with me my last 2 trips, and I love it. So I was having a really bad like KP flare up on my arms, I think last August, and then I brought this with me to travel to my sister's house. I was using this and the body butter at the same time, and my bumps went away completely. I don't know if it's the water where she lives or because I like stripped down my body care routine and I was only using the same things for about like 2 weeks or so, but my skin did get very smooth. My bumps did diminish a lot. And I feel like it was a combination of this and the body butter. So I have a full size of this one actually that I'm getting ready to open as soon as I finish another body wash in my shower, because I do have a couple that are open right now. The Dove Hyaluronic Hydration Serum, Cream Serum. This one I bought because Makeup by Nikki LaRose talked about this in one of her videos, and she said it was amazing for her dry legs, and I was like, I want to try it out. Honestly, I wanted to love this, but I just didn't. So I started off using this like a body moisturizer, like a lotion. So right out of the shower, I used this and that was all I used, but I felt like my skin absorbed this way too quickly and it didn't leave my skin feeling moisturized the next morning because I do typically shower at night. So what I did was I started to layer this with body lotions and body butters, and I was also layering it with like body oils, and that seemed to give those products an extra boost of hydration. So this I would say is kind of like a booster, not necessarily a replacement for any of those things. I thought that it was nice, but it wasn't nice enough to where I would run out and repurchase it. I don't feel like it really transformed any of my other products, but I do think it was nice that it gave that extra boost, you know what I'm saying? And I also thought this was nice like the next day if I felt like some areas of my skin, like my elbows or like my legs or something, felt a little bit more dry. I just added a little bit of this because it does dry down and quickly absorb, so you don't have to worry about like feeling greasy throughout the day, you know, you can quickly get changed. So it was good. I would use it again if I had it, but I don't think I would go out and repurchase it. Here's something I would repurchase, the Josie Maran body butter, and this one is in the scent Vanilla Vibes, and I really love this. First off, this scent, I was going back and forth on purchasing this for months, maybe even a year or so before I went ahead and bit the bullet. I love this so much. I love the smell. It is a vanilla, but it's less of a like edible vanilla gourmand and slightly more on the light fruity vanilla side of things, because it does have juniper berry in the notes, so it makes it like this light berry vanilla, not like berry, how do I explain this, not like medicinal berry, you know, I don't know. It just smells so good. You have to go and smell it if you have not already. It's going to be a body butter that has that argan oil in it, so you do feel a little bit of that oiliness combination that's in here, and it made the body butter glide onto the skin just like a regular lotion, but it had that thickness once it was like spread onto the skin that made your skin feel super hydrated, and throughout the night it would absorb into the skin, and it just gave that extra boost, you know what I mean? And the scent is just, it would linger, and I would smell it like throughout the night and the next day too. And I do want to say that I prefer oils with lotion versus separate, so I think that this was a perfect combination. Typically with body oils these days, I do mix it with some sort of lotion, so the fact that this was already combined just made it that much more simple for me. This jar lasted a really long time, and they do sell the refills, but the refills I believe are twice the size of these, so it's twice the price. This did last me a really long time, so I would imagine that the refill is going to last a long time, and I would hope that it wouldn't expire before I would like finish it up. I loved this so much that I bought the body mist and I would layer them together. It smells incredible. Another body butter oil combination, I used up 2 of these. These are the Fenty Skin Butta Drop Whipped Oil Body Creams, and this is just the original scent in Fenty Fresh. They have a couple of different fragrances now, but this is by far my favorite one, the original one. This I would consider one of my favorite oil slash body butter combinations. They just did it so well. It almost feels like your typical body lotion, but slightly more heavy and oily, which is perfect for me because, like I said, I do shower at night. I love when my skin can just absorb all of the moisture overnight. And this one, while it is that oil body butter combination, it doesn't leave you feeling super greasy, and it just feels like your skin is so nice and supple in the morning. I would say that my skin would absorb this one faster than the Josie Maran one did, so it doesn't leave you again feeling super greasy. But even then, I don't really mind it when it's a body butter oil combination. Like, I kind of go into it knowing that I'm going to feel a little bit more moisturized than just using a regular lotion. Also, if you wanted to use this right before going out or something, if you're showing a little bit of like skin, you can put this on and it gives you an incredible sheen without feeling, again, like sticky and oily. Like sometimes with body oils, if you put it on before going out, you have to like be careful not to get it on your clothes, but I don't find that I have that same issue with this one. The scent is really nice and clean and fresh, but not in a laundry way, like not a fresh cotton linen type of thing. It's in a clean skin type of way. The Hanni shave pillow, I feel like not a lot of people talk about this, but this has been my go-to shave product since I started using this, like the first time I used this. This is a no rinse gel stick, and I mean, you can see I completely used this up. I scraped in there and used all of this. This is my go-to for shaving because it's more of a mess-free type of product, unlike a shave oil or a shave foam or shave lotion. I don't know what's out there anymore because this is all I use. This is nice because it's in like this deodorant stick type of thing. You just wind it up and then you can just put it all over your legs or wherever you're gonna shave. That just came out completely. So you can use this actually as a body moisturizer. They do market it that way where you can just put it on your skin and rub it in. I don't really like using it that way. I prefer it only as using it as a shave stick because when I have put this on my body when it's been dry, it does feel a little bit heavy and it doesn't feel like it completely spreads nicely. So I like to use this on my wet skin when I shave. It lathers really nicely. It gives you a nice slick canvas to use your razor with. I have already repurchased this. I've gone through, I think, 2 or 3 of these and I'm on my next one. So I really enjoy this one. It's so good and I highly recommend if you guys haven't tried it to try it. I have one shampoo here. It's the Necessaire Rosemary shampoo. I think I talked about the conditioner last last empties video, I'm not entirely sure, but this is still the best Rosemary line that I have tried for my hair. It's the one that feels the most cleansing without feeling stripping, and it keeps my hair oil free for longer than if I was using like a more moisturizing shampoo or conditioner. I love how clean this leaves the hair without making it feel like stringy or like coarse. My hair just feels really strong after extended use of this product. And like I said, I feel like my scalp doesn't get as oily as quickly. It usually only takes maybe like 2 days for it to start getting oily, but this one I think would extend it just a little bit longer than that, especially with the help of a dry shampoo. I have recommended this line to a lot of people and I would definitely buy it again. And it has the same cap as the body wash, so very user-friendly, easy to use, mess-free. Since we're already on the topic, let's talk about hair stuff. So the Amika dry shampoo, this is a Perk Up Plus. They have 3 different levels of dry shampoo within their line now, and this is going to be the middle intensity that they have. Amika hair products just smell so good. I just love them. My hair feels really clean when I use this and the oil gets fully absorbed. Sometimes I feel like this can get heavy if I don't use it soon enough, you know? For instance, I'll go, let's say like I go 3 days without washing my hair and I haven't used dry shampoo until that 3rd day. It can get very greasy on that day, so naturally I would have to use more dry shampoo, but I find that this one works better in layers. The 2nd day after washing my hair, I'll do a little light layer of this and then that'll be it. And then the next day, the 3rd day, I would do another light layer of this and that'll be it. And I won't feel it in my hair as much if I do it 2nd and 3rd day than if I used the product only on the 3rd day, because I would be using a lot at one time and then it just feels like a lot. I think that kind of goes with most dry shampoos though. So if you find dry shampoos just feel too gritty in your hair, maybe try to get ahead of it and like split up how much you need to use with different days. My only thing with this is I've gone through about 2 bottles of this now, and I have a suspicion that this might be breaking out my hairline just very slightly. I'm trying to figure it out. The last couple of months I have been testing out makeup within my collection that is kind of older because I was preparing for doing my audits, and it can either be a combination of that or like using new skincare or this, but I have noticed a concentration of acne in my hairline, so I'm like, okay, it has to be something that I'm using in my hair, and I think that it might be this, unfortunately. So I have to use it sparingly, which is another good reason to kind of split up how much I'm using in the span of like 2 to 3 days. I might try the original one, or I might switch back to the Living Proof when I finish my current bottle, because I did buy one during the last Sephora sale and I bought the jumbo one. So after I finish that, maybe I'll switch back or I'll try the original. But I do love this, and if you are not acne prone, you'll probably really love this. If you're not acne prone and you do have oily skin, but love that one. And then I did have a travel size that I used whenever I went on trips and stuff, so this is great. Next, I just have this travel size of the Kenra Volume Spray. This is the number 25. I know that they have a couple of different hairsprays in their line, so this is 25, and I really liked this. I feel like it was a great hairspray that also added volume, but at the same time I feel like most hairsprays add volume if you just like spray it in the root. I don't know. The smell was fine. It didn't bother me. It is more on the light side of things when it comes to fragrances with a hairspray. I do find hairsprays can smell significantly more than any other hair product, in my opinion. I think that this helped hold my curls for a really long time in my hair without being overly crunchy. Or if I would do updos for events or what have you, it really held my hair in place. It would get a little crunchy because with hair updos, you know, like you use a lot of hairspray, so that's the only time it would get like crunchy, but I'm not really touching my hair when it's in an updo. What I care about most is, you know, if I have it down like this, as long as it's touchable but it still keeps the hair from frizzing up and looking crazy, then I'm happy. I'm not too picky, and I like this a lot. But I will say that the first travel size bottle I had of this, the the little sprayer broke. Like I used it twice or something like that, and then it just broke, and I tried to fix it and I couldn't figure it out. So that kind of sucked, but I was able to completely use this one up. Next we have some skincare. So Dermalogica Precleanse. They sent this one to me months and months ago, and you guys were really excited for me because I had not tried this out before they had sent it to me. So I was really excited to receive this as well. This was a good oil cleanser to remove makeup, but I will say that I felt like it was a pretty thin oil cleanser. I'm definitely used to more of a thicker cleansing oil. So recently I have really loved the Atelier one. I got that one in Japan, and I have a couple backups of that one, and the Peach and Lily oil cleanser I find is slightly more thick than this one as well. This one I would say is very similar to the Pre-Cleanse, I think that's what it's called, whatever their cleansing oil is that I had finished up previously. It's similar to that one, but this one is slightly thicker than that one. So I did like this one better than the Pre-Cool one. When it comes to cleansing oils, I kind of feel like I want them to be like an experience, like a little bit of like a spa luxe experience. I don't know about you guys. If you're not looking for that, this will do its job. But I do think that with this price tag, I should feel kind of like I'm at a spa, you know what I'm saying? So that's just my personal experience. Like I said, it does work. It got everything off. I do use a separate mascara remover though for my really stubborn mascaras, but this one worked really well for the rest of my makeup. I didn't feel like I had too much residue after washing my face. So I would use it again if they sent it to me again, but I probably wouldn't go out and buy it, especially because it is so pricey. Next we have the In Beauty Extreme Cream eye cream. This is a firming and contouring eye cream, and I really love this texture and also the performance of this eye cream under the eyes. So I go back and forth, and I've said this before, but I go back and forth on if eye cream is necessary, and I've kind of decided that no, it's not necessary, but a lot of things that I do within my skincare routine is not necessary for most people. I just find that I get the most out of my skin when I use them, you know? So I really like the texture of this because it has that like cream oil texture to it, not in a way that it'll like sit on your skin for too long. It absorbs into the skin. It's kind of like this thicker cream that I feel like the oil kind of helps spread it under the eyes. If you guys have ever used something like the Kiehl's eye cream, that one I feel like is kind of difficult to spread under the eyes, which makes me not want to use it. This one has the same thickness, but it's way easier to blend into the skin. My eyes feel really hydrated after I use this. So to be transparent, I do have some backups that I have had sent to me in the past, but if I had to go out and repurchase it myself, I would definitely hesitate because, you guys, it's so small. It's so small. The packaging is definitely deceiving, and while it does say how much is actually in the package, they didn't lie about that. This is how much is in there, 0.5 fluid ounces, but this is what it looks like. So it just makes you think that there's way more in there when really there's not. It's 0.5 ounces, which isn't terrible for an eye cream, but again, it is quite expensive. The nice thing about this is it does use an airless pump, so it does pump up all the product. You get every little bit out of here. I have opened it and checked it. Do they sell refills of this? If the refills are less expensive, I would consider it, but just the buy-in of it, it's a little much. It's a little much, but that doesn't take away how much I enjoyed this. Like, I genuinely enjoyed this to the point where I was like raving about it and telling my husband, you have to use this, because he does have a little bit of crow's feet forming around his eyes. It is hereditary for him, and it does have those peptides and amino acids in here that will help with things like, you know, dynamic wrinkles and such. And this did last a long time. Don't get me wrong. Half of the time I didn't even use a full pump under both eyes. I would use like half a pump for both eyes. It lasted an incredibly long time. It's really nice under the eyes at nighttime. I don't typically use this to prep my eyes though, because I do feel like it's a little thick for that. So this one is really interesting to me. I don't know if you guys will find it interesting, but the Sunday Riley UFO Acne Treatment Face Oil. I have gone through countless bottles of this at this point. This was one of my go-to salicylic acid acne treatments that I was using when my skin was freaking out for years. But here's the thing, I think I prefer the Dermalogica Clear Start one that I talked about in our last empties video. So if you have anything but oily skin, I think that this would be amazing still. It gives you a lot of hydration, obviously, because it isn't oil, but it doesn't stay greasy on the skin like a nighttime facial oil might. This one actually absorbs into the skin and it leaves you looking nice and hydrated. If you suffer from dryness because of other actives that you're using for your acne, I think that this would be such a great solution because it has that salicylic acid in it while also having that moisture. So that has always been like a really interesting feature to me and something that I thought was like very unique to any other acne treatment products. However, these days I'm preferring less dewy, less oily products on my skin when it comes to skincare and when it comes to my makeup. So for me, I feel like this one sometimes leaves me a little bit too dewy, and that's coming from someone that's very oily. Keep that in mind. I am very oily and I live in a humid climate, so my skin may become more oily than yours might. So again, this still works. It still does what it's supposed to. It's still incredible, but I think that the vehicle being in an oil that really drew me to it before, I don't necessarily need it anymore, especially because my skin is very used to having acne treatments on it all the time. I don't suffer from any dryness that, you know, someone else might. And I'm going through another bottle of this that I had purchased during a sale that Sunday Riley had like a while back. But when I finish that one, I think that I will switch over and open up my next Dermalogica Clear Start Booster, which actually works out because I started using that one because I was talking about how I wanted to find a cheaper alternative to this because this is very expensive. Okay, the Dr. Idris Major Fade Hyper Serum. So this is a refillable product here, so you can just pop that out and that is the product. Again, it does utilize that airless pump, so you are able to use every last bit of that serum, which I really love when it comes to packaging. I love an airless pump. I got this from a YouTube event a couple years ago, and whenever you get this, it does come with 2 of those. So I finished one up and it's 0.48 fluid ounces. And at first I felt like it was a little too intense for my skin. Oftentimes I can put an exfoliator into my routine without an issue and it'll just like it'll work. But this one I kind of had to ease into. Like I could only use this once a week for a couple of months before I like built that up, because you guys know I skin cycle. So this one I had to use once a week within that cycle. But when my skin got used to it, I really enjoyed the moisturizer cream feel of this. This is one of those exfoliators where I feel like it spread really nice and evenly onto the skin. I actually felt like my skin was brighter and tighter when I was using this. Like it looks smoother. My skin overall, I just had way more good skin days using this than bad skin days. I will say that I was still using this very sparingly on my neck because I felt like I was getting a little irritation, like a little itchy on my neck whenever I would use too much there. And I really like this dispenser. So it does lock in place here. There's a little lock mechanism and you just twist it when you want to turn it on or off. This was great because when you pump it, it gave you the exact amount of product that you needed to use all over your face. So there was never really a question of how much you needed to use. And I think that's really great, especially if they knew that the product was more intense. It allowed people to use the right amount with less of a chance of irritating the skin. I will say though, make sure that it's locked, because there would be times when I had this like sitting on my counter when I was doing my skincare, and then I would like push this on and it would push the product up and I was like, oh shoot, I just wasted a pump of this. So be careful with that. I do have that second refill, which I will open up and start using once I use the current exfoliator that I have open right now. When I use that up, my beloved VT Cosmetics Riedel Shot 300. So I use the 100, 300, and 700 within my skincare routine nightly. This is holy grail status for my nighttime skincare routine. I will use the 300 on my recovery nights, and then when I use exfoliators and retinols, I'll use the 100. And I don't feel the prickliness of either one of these anymore because I use them every single night. I will say when I first started using these, I was very nervous. I was scared they were going to hurt, and it does take a little bit of time to get used to it, but not as much time as I thought it would take. I have an entire video like of the 3 months I think it took me to actually like experiment and see how I felt about these. So I'll link that down below if you guys are curious. This essentially, the way that I see it, is like a booster for your already existing skincare products within your routine. So your exfoliators are that much more effective. Your retinol, that much more effective. I will say if you have sensitive skin, to ease yourself into using this, but I promise you guys, if you use this, your skin's gonna look so good. At least mine does. At least mine does. Dieux Deliverance. So this one I was really excited to use because I had heard really great things about this serum, and I think that this is a really, really solid niacinamide serum. I think it's more than just niacinamide, but one of the draws is that it is a niacinamide serum. I felt like this was slightly moisturizing, and I felt like it also kind of helped with my oiliness as I use this more frequently. I love the texture of this. It's serumy, but it's a cream serum. So again, it just felt a little bit luxe. Like the way that it performed on the skin was really nice. And also the experience of using this was also incredibly nice. Beauty of Joseon Day Dew sunscreen. This had an SPF of 50, and you can see this has like these little ridges here because I did use my paint squeezer on this, and I use that for squeeze tube so I can get every last bit of product out of it. And I like using that more than like cutting it open, because especially for sunscreens, once you cut it open, the efficacy goes down very drastically, very quickly. I like this one more than I like the original sunscreen from Beauty of Joseon that everyone like went crazy over. That one always felt slightly thicker for me. While I feel like the formula was really nice and the texture was really nice, it wasn't my favorite. I really like this one because it felt thinner and I felt like I could spread it more evenly, and there was no chance of a white cast. It is a chemical exfoliant, so there's not typically going to be a white cast. It just went onto the skin really nicely. It never pilled. It worked well with all my other skincare products, and it worked well underneath makeup as well. The Paula's Choice Pro-Collagen Peptide Firming Eye Serum. I also used my little paint squeezer, toothpaste squeezer thing on this as well, as you guys can see, and this was such a great eye cream for daytime use. So it does have that metal tip applicator, and I love that for the mornings. It just feels nice and cooling. I can't speak on like if it really depuffs. I have been using my Shark Cryo mask every single morning, so that I use to like depuff under my eyes, but this was just a nice like added bonus while using my eye cream. So this does have a thicker gel consistency that actually absorbs into the skin as well. So like I said, you don't get any pilling. It doesn't like get weird with any other skincare products. It just felt like a treat to use. I always looked forward to using this. I felt like it smoothed out my under eyes really nicely. It's not going to be one that I feel like you can use for makeup prep. Like I would use this in my skincare routine, and then when I would sit down to do my makeup, I would use a separate, more creamy eye cream if I was going to use a thicker concealer, but typically this was fine on its own. One eye cream that I did not like, you guys, I didn't finish this one, and at this point I don't really think I'm going to. So this is the Naturium Vitamin Bright Eye Cream. I think that this comes, yeah, this is the light/medium, and I think they have a medium/deep, and I could not get down with this one. I use as much as I could. From here it looks like I used it all up, but it's actually all just like piled up in one place, and I don't know if you guys can see that texture, but it's a cream and then it has like all this oil kind of separating from it, and while you used it, it also did that. So I would go in and I would like rub my fingers together and try to get the oil and the cream to like mesh together really well and put it on, and it never did. It felt like there was like if you took a moisturizer and then you dropped some oil on it and you just smeared it onto your skin, and you had to like work both of them in. And I don't like rubbing my eyes like back and forth too much, and I felt like I had to do that with this one. It didn't really blend into the skin well. I just feel like something was off. I don't know, I wasn't a fan, and then I just like put it to the side and I started using the Paula's Choice one, and then I forgot about this one, and at this point I'm like, I don't even want to use it. It looks kind of crazy. And one last little eye cream, I got this I think with like a gift with purchase, or I don't know how I ended up with this. I think it was like a free gift with purchase or something from Sephora, but this is the Caudalie Vino Perfect Brightening Eye Cream. It was fine. It's just a regular creamy type of eye cream. I didn't notice it do anything incredibly different for my under eyes. It felt like a regular moisturizer, which is not a bad thing, like I said, but this is one of those things when it comes to eye creams where you're like, is it necessary? Is it doing anything? Because it just felt normal. It was good, but it wasn't like blow me away kind of good. Okay, and lastly are a couple of things, just like a couple random things. Touchland hand sanitizer. This is the wild watermelon. You guys, I have loved these for so long, and then it became kind of a meme, and I was like, I still love it. I love these because they're easy to throw in your purse. I love a spray hand sanitizer. I'm sorry, you guys. I'm sorry. I do feel like I am more inclined to use a hand sanitizer if I can spray it versus like a squeezy one that you have to really rub in. I like to use this in layers. So I'll spray, 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 rub my hands together, spray, 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 like all the things. I will do that. I've bought a couple of the gift bundles in the past and I've gone through those. I've given them to my husband. I've given them to friends, to family. I really enjoy them. Right now I'm using the aloe one, which is my personal favorite one. Our reoccurring characters in these empties videos, my BOKA toothpaste. This is my #1 toothpaste. I've been using this for years. This is the Element one, and I did use my little squeezer on these as well, and my Panoxyl Acne Creamy Face Wash 4%. This is my go-to nighttime face wash. I'll use it as a mask, so when I'm in the shower I'll put it all over my face after I've taken my makeup off, and then I'll leave it on for 3 to 5 minutes, I would say, and then I'll work it in like a regular face wash. It is incredible. I don't experience any drying from those. Some acetone, just regular acetone. I've been painting my own nails, you guys, consistently since September, October-ish time, and I think it's really good for my nails and I enjoy it. I feel like it's kind of like therapeutic to do it. I have these motion patches. I thought I would throw this in here, but I get really car sick, and I've been getting like nauseous and car sick in the car for the last couple of years. I even have the funny little glasses that I sometimes wear on long road trips, but this is great if I'm feeling a little nauseous. And like sometimes if we've traveled, when we've had to take like a train, the subway or something, I will just pop one of these on if I'm riding with a friend and I'm not driving, because if I'm driving I'm okay, but if I'm a passenger I get really nauseous, so I'll just stick one of these, and this has worked really nicely. Cocolabs Cocofloss. So I have 2 of these, and this is kind of funny. So I was recommended this from my friend Lauren, and I was like, oh, I'll try it out, and honestly, I really did not like this floss when I first started using it. And I do have Invisalign. I don't know if you guys know that. And before that, my teeth were very like crowded, and I felt like this was too thick because it is braided thread and it has coconut oil infused into it. And I just felt like it was too much. But after using it more, I did use up one before these 2 ever so slowly. I actually started to love it. I felt like it really gets the gunk out from between the teeth. I feel like it keeps the teeth really nice and clean, and there's like no plaque whatsoever. They all have different scents to them, which I thought was like really fun and cute. I feel like you can really smell it in the packaging, but it does fade before you finish up all the floss, and I don't taste it, I don't smell it while I'm using it, so I was kind of bummed out about that. But it's a fun concept. I kind of wish that it lasted longer, or you like tasted it, you know. I have the Delightful Mint and the Cara Cara Orange, and I just opened up the Young Coconut one. I did buy a 4-pack on TikTok like months ago, I think like Black Friday time, and I've gone through 2 of them already since buying that pack. And now when I use like the Crest one, before I would use the really thin one, you know, it feels like nothing. It's just not as satisfying anymore. Okay, and then lastly, my Hair and Make Speedy Mascara Remover. Great for taking off stubborn mascara. Highly recommend. It has like this little wand that you use that the applicator or the remover is on. Put it on, leave it on for a couple minutes, and then use a cotton round or like a facial cotton and just take it off. I do find that's the best way to get all the oily residue off, because it is a mixture of different oils to remove your mascara. All right, you guys, that was everything. That was such a long video. We had so many empties. I am considering like starting a little spreadsheet, because you guys know I love my spreadsheets, but starting a spreadsheet of all of my empties for the course of 2026, so we can really see how many different categories we've used throughout the year, and I don't know, I think it might be a little interesting. Do you guys think that's interesting? What should I do with it at the end of the year? I don't know, we'll see. Just a thought, but yeah, that's everything for this video. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. I will leave everything linked down below in the description, as well as tagged with the YouTube shopping tab in case you guys want to shop through my links. I do get some kickback from it, so I do appreciate when you guys shop through them, but obviously not necessary. So that's it for this video. That's it from me for now. If you guys want to watch more of my videos, feel free to click the video right here for you. And until next time, you guys, please take care of yourselves, and I will see you soon. Bye.